Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Are we looking at two secret parts, two future parts, two pre-released mistakes? Well, let's take a look in this video and see exactly what this is. Now there have been a decent amount of people commenting on these two new parts, what looks like a bike or ATV handlebars, and this kind of wide seat thing. Now if we take a look here in the workbench, you can actually see that in addition to all the seats we previously had, we now have a second space seat. Well, let me tell you, it has the same description, same everything, except not fluid, as you can see. So this one has no fluid. The rest is the same. Interesting enough, it's not actually a space seat, as you can see here, and when we try to place it somewhere, there's really only the configuration that it allows is this, with the block actually within the element itself. So the only way you could really place it is it like what I've done here, because anything below and above and behind is taken up. So while this would look fantastic on an ATV or snowmobile or whatever you have it, it doesn't seem to be working. And what my theory is that because they even labeled it space seat, I think they just took the space seat physics, and I'll explain that in a second. Like the physics, the seating position, you could see here the space seat and this take up the same space and everything. These things are also interesting and weird, and they're called padded seats. Small padded passenger seat. Now, interesting enough, has the exact same description as this, same mass, same everything, but unlike the ones that we are used to, that pretty much can be stacked up like this, and they have this space around it, these ones are actually wider. So if you imagine in a car, if you had these, you can put them like that, obviously footwell, you'd put them like that, though you don't need a footwell because you see that it doesn't have a space going beneath. These ones are wider. They're 3x2, same height though, 4 high, and they behave differently. Now, maybe my voice is a giveaway that I'm a little skeptical or confused, just because this kind of came out under the radar, and actually these are broken parts or not really working properly. You can see here, we're sitting on it right now, and that's what it looks like. So clearly, it's still positioned for a regular 2x1 seat, therefore my legs are kind of caught in it, and I'm not even sitting straight on it. So they're clearly some kind of work in progress bit. Interesting that they did go that wide, and we'll take a look why I think so. And then over here, this handle, like I said, it looks super cool. I actually think it looks fantastic, and you can even see the brake lever on either side and kind of this pivot there. So why, when you sit on it, it looks like this? Well, that's because I'm pretty sure there's a pre-release, and they just took the component that we're standing next to, because if I stand in this, well, that looks normal, right? But on this guy, we're sitting backwards. So I don't expect these are finished pieces, but what is interesting is that one obviously has a fluid port, this one doesn't, but they've used kind of the same bit now, or same description, and therefore same size, yet here they've obviously increased the size. Now what's unfortunate about these big padded seats is they sit in the middle, and you can't put them next to each other, right? They take up 3x2, but they can't fit next to each other. Even though if I delete this one, you could see that it clearly looks like it should be able to fit like this. And also, imagine if we had a car with our usual kind of driver's seat and whatnot. So the cars that I usually make, like the door would be here, and then you'd have a center console, and then this seat goes here, and then you have another door and stuff here. So that's kind of the width that I usually make my cars. Now, what I always found to be sort of a disadvantage is, well, you also have your passenger seat here, like that. Now, if you want a bench seat in the back, yeah, you can grab these ones, but then you end up with kind of 3 seats that look like this. So I'd be very, very curious to know if these ones, like, see, now they kind of align with how those ones work. So I'm almost wondering if they're supposed to be matching the width, the 3x2 width of those in this position. Maybe. We'll find out, I guess. But it is an interesting part for sure. This, I would say, is more interesting because now it opens up possibilities that were previously non-existent. So like you have my quad here with this old style handlebar, which works pretty much how I would envisioned this to have worked if we just take a quick copy of the handlebar. So what I would have thought is that this piece would function and you'd face forward, with that one kind of being an element like that. But something else is quite interesting. I mean, if their final idea is to make this, for example, work in a bike scenario where the thing would actually look like this. Now, actually, let me just remove that pivot, paint that real quick, just so I can give you the right visual. If you had this thing, this new handlebar, sitting like that, that's how you'd expect it to look, right? Now, ignore the fact that you see all these red cubes, but you'd expect it to be there, or at least one above. Like maybe if it was something like that, but that's a little awkward. So I'd go for the lower one. So you'd expect it to look like that. But what I'm almost wondering is, are they developing a system where the piece doesn't clash with where our character stands? And that's kind of my guess, what I'm thinking this is supposed to be developing. And if you look at the seats like this, the character's legs go into these cubes, yet the seat itself only takes up this space above, kind of like from your legs up. So can this handlebar function such that they purely make it available for you to stand on, once I can get around to it, on a space like this? Now, obviously my cubes are not working through it, but let's say on a platform like this, and then would you lay on it, kind of like with your body going horizontally, or would you be maybe at an angle and kind of like into the thing? I don't know. I'm quite curious. What I would almost imagine a handlebar like this would have, rather than being vertical, upright like this and like this, it would actually have kind of a laying. Like if we say positioned the handlebar, let's delete this. I'm going to show you what I think. If we position the handlebar here, I envision that the block that would be kind of blocking you from placing things would look something like this, let's say. Maybe even above and around it, like that. So that would be the space. Now, they do seem to kind of like to have the 3 wide, though the one I just deleted here seemed to be a bit of a counterintuitive, in a sense that it actually would enable you to be within it. Meaning, like, if this is here, you are physically standing or sitting on and within where this creation is. So with that said, maybe this handlebar would be like somewhere there, but you see they're all 3 wide. So maybe you gotta do something like this. But regardless, that would work with creations like this. Obviously not with these, but once you did that, and those buttons. So let's remove this. That's not fun. Let's do that. So the handlebar would be really, really cool to work with that type of red cell layout. So then you could put it right here, and it wouldn't counteract with your buttons that you see I have here, and it also would allow displays and all kinds of other stuff. I think we don't have any horizontal laying control interface. We have the control handle, like I showed you, and we have the other space handles and seats, but we don't really have one where we're laying laying horizontally. And then this seat, my guess is just that it's something like this. But it's always cool to kind of get these leaked things, just so then we can speculate, talk about them, think about them. Let me know in the comments what you think these creations may bring us to, if it's totally a glitch, you know, something broke, or whether they're planning to release this in a future either minor or major update. Honestly, I would love, I'll be for the record here, I would love one thing: for these control handles to be used on vehicles like this. But not just that, I would love to see, for example, an update come out for small style vehicles, and I'm talking about quads, ATVs, bicycles, or bikes, right? Because right now we have all these wheels, and they've given us new wheels today with the dually style double wheel. But what we don't really have is a motorcycle wheel, right? It would be really nice to be able to use a motorcycle wheel, maybe something with twin axles coming out of either side. So, or see, not quite like a landing wheel, but like something like this, obviously one wheel and with a single point of contact, where then you could put that up to a shaft and control it like a motorcycle. So it'd be really interesting to see that type of creation come out, like a focus on smaller builds, small space things, kind of like that, why the original space seat came out was kind of for small jetpacks and things. So it'd be cool to see like a focus on smaller builds with this type of stuff, including the padded seat. So anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think they're gonna do, if this is totally mindless guessing or if there's some merit to it. So anyway, stay tuned for the next video, stay tuned for more creations, and as always, happy Stormworksing everyone. See you next time.